Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to a review of the mini quadcopter from Red5, and this is the UFO version. The actual model number for this particular one, in case you want to look it up, is the U816A. Well, first things first, let's have a look at the box and get it open and have a look at the quadcopter. Well, first of all, it comes well packaged with lots of bubble wrap, and there's the box inside, which initially was upside down, and after popping that round, here's the inside of the box. So quadcopter there, and just having a little closer look at it. First time I've seen it up close and in person, and quite a nice looking controller there next to it as well. Well, time to get it charged, I guess, and like most quadcopters or these days, a lot of them seem to be USB charged. This one is, but it comes with this little kind of charger dock thing station, and there's the battery. You have to take it out well, you don't have to take it out to charge it, but it's much easier to take out to charge. Just slide that in there, and one of these lights will go red, and when it's done, it'll go off. And it's got a hole on the other side, so you can charge two batteries at once with this, it would appear. Haven't tested that yet, but I'm sure that'll be fine. Well, I'm going to get this charged up, pop it in there, and pop that in my computer, and we will see if we can get it going. And here it is, me having my first go with the new quadcopter outside. Just trying to get the hang of it, flying around a little bit. If you haven't flown quadcopters before, I highly recommend you gently try indoors first, and then move to grassy areas on dry, windless days. That's the best way to start. That way, if anything goes wrong, you can just cut the power and you'll gently land on the grass. But here we are, just moving it around. And let's have a look at it. I'm going to try and do a couple of flips. Not much room for me to do it here, but let's do it anyway just so you can see. Well, there we go. Unboxing done, flight test done. Let's do a little bit of a rounding off in terms of the scores and so forth for this particular quadcopter. Just look at that, it's quite bendy. Anyway, first of all, aesthetics. It is quite good. It looks alright compared to a lot of quadcopters I've seen. I don't really like this design here, and it does come with some extra stickers that you can stick on, but I chose not to. I think it makes it look a little bit more tacky than what it really should be, because it is quite smart overall. The thing that puts this up though compared to some other quadcopters is this control unit is quite a good one. It looks cool, it looks more robust than some of the others, for example the Q4 or something like that. But yeah, it looks a lot quite good. So if it wasn't for the UFO alien thing, it probably would score better, but I'm going to give it a 7. Let's have a look at for good design. First things first, the controller, very well designed. Throttle stays where it should be, that's a good feature. The fact that you can trim everything on this particular one is good. The trims are quite good. It's got a nice screen. Very well designed that. It tells you a lot of information, your throttle, it tells you your signal, whether you're connected or not. It tells you your battery life of the controller as well, so that's well designed in terms, and it fits quite well into the hand. It's not perfect in terms of ergonomics, but it does fit okay in, and the buttons do fit nicely on the fingers as well. The design of this is very straightforward, most quadcopters are. It's got a nice ring round it, that's quite a good design feature. It's well in shape there, and well, yeah, that's about it really. It doesn't break any boundaries in design, but it's all quite nice and neatly done. So it's quite good, we'll give it an 8. Features. This quadcopter has a lot of the features you'd expect from a quadcopter. It flies around, forward, back, left, right, rotates. and it also can do flips. It's got 2 different modes for flips, which probably bumps it up on the features a little bit. There's a single press button you can do on the remote. You press it, bam, it just does a flip when it's ready. You're hovering around, you press the button, as soon as it decides that it is stable in the middle, it will just flip. I think it does by default a forward flip or something along those lines, or it might be a back flip, and then levels out. The one thing that you might need to do if you're doing that, it's not fully automated. I think you might need to put a little bit more power in just before you, or just after you do the flip. So start to raise up, you do the flip, because if you do a flip it can drop quite a bit. But yeah, that's quite good. And then there's a button that you activate, and that allows flip mode. The controller starts beeping, and when you're ready you hit the right stick in a direction, forward, backwards, left and right, and it will flip in that direction. So that's quite good on the features side of things. One drawback in the features is that I haven't yet been able to identify when this is going to run out of power. It would be nice to have some sort of little LED, maybe on the bottom is a good place, or one on the bottom, one on the top. It's not on, but that when it's starting to run low on power, maybe a little red one that flashes, just so you know what's going on, so you can bring it back to you, or so you can bring it down from a great height, quite down, low down, and nice and safe, so you're not going to fly it around and all of a sudden it drops out the sky. It does start to drop down, it doesn't just smash down, but the lack of the feature of being able to tell when you've got a few seconds left to bring it back to you marks it down on the features. Otherwise it'd be really good, so we're marking it down to a good 7. Performance is next, and I've flown this around. The video clip you saw outside was in quite bad wind. You can't see it very well on the video, but in the little alley where I was filming, I was getting wind coming from left, right and centre, and it was batting around quite badly, but I was still able to keep it moderately stable for the most part, so that is quite good. Bring it indoors, like the second part of the clip you saw, and it hovers around beautifully. For the most part, if you get it hovering pretty much in one position, it will hover there. A lot of quadcopters have severe drift, and you have to either correct it with the controls and so forth. This one, it does have, oh yeah, there is a minute amount of drift and so forth, there always is, but it is really good in terms of performance. Especially the flips as well. The flips are nice and quick, and it does give it, it doesn't drop as much as a lot of quadcopters when it does the flips. I'm going to give that a 9. That brings us on to ease of use. Having flown a couple of different quadcopters before, this one I found the easiest to just get up and go. It seems to be the most stable. It has 2 different modes of flight. There's normal mode and then hard, or what they call turbo mode. It's more of an advanced mode. In normal mode it flies around, you pull the stick, it's not going to dramatically fly off, but in turbo mode you do get more of a tilt system going on, and to be honest it is very easy to use in comparison to other quadcopters. Obviously if you do have any problems, you've got your bumpers on this particular model. It helps. It doesn't 100% protect them. I did have a little crash whilst I was sorting a few things out, and it did land on its blade, on its top, but for the most part these bumpers you can gently knock into a wall, and then the quadcopter will carry on. Very easy to use, and compared to a lot of other quadcopters, just a bit of practice, I'm going to give that a 9. Must have factor on this particular one, it is quite small. It's not cute like some of the tiny ones. It doesn't have any features that make you go, I've got to have that one. It is good, but there's nothing that makes me go, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. The reason why I brought this one was the price, and we'll get to that later. So, because there's nothing that really wants me to grab it, it is good, so I kind of want it. I'm going to give it a 7. Innovation is next on my scoreboard, and this one really to me doesn't break any boundaries of innovation. There's no really new features that are beyond any other quadcopters I see out there. It's quite generic in its design. Yeah, it's just overall good. It hasn't really pushed itself forward in terms of the new different ways that you can do things. So innovation, it's only going to get a 6 because it hasn't really pushed it in any sort of direction. Then the next category, best of field. Having said that, I haven't flown a tremendous amount of quadcopters, but it is a very good one. It's very stable, very balanced, but because some of the other quadcopters have more features and so forth, then it's not going to score tremendously. So we're going to give it a 7. And bearing in mind, we're going to go on to the next one now, which is value for money. These quadcopters don't have cameras on them. The ones with cameras on, in my opinion, are a different class of quadcopter in their own. They have a hell of a lot more tech in, and they're a different price category. We're looking in the category towards the lower end and the smaller quadcopters. So these are all compared to the same sort of category. Value for money then properly. Value for money, these ones are normally £40. A little bit more expensive than the Q4 if you're going to go for that one. But the flight time, which I should have mentioned earlier, is longer. With the Q4 it's around the kind of 4 or 5 minute mark. With this particular quadcopter, you're looking at the 5 to 9 minute mark, and you can upgrade the battery as well, although that is through a third party, so you know normal risks of putting different batteries with things that aren't meant to, all those sorts of things apply. But I haven't tested that yet. I might do that in future to have a look, because the battery on this, I think, is a 240, and you can buy a 400. Nearly doubles your time, or adds a good chunk on. I reckon you could get this to fly for at least 15 minutes, and that is really good. But a default, it's not bad. Value for money then, properly. Value for money, it is just plastic, but there's a good bit of complex circuit board, batteries and so forth. I got it on special offer at £20 rather than 40. So if it was £20, I would say yes, 15 marks out of 10. However, it's £40, and a more realistic value for money on that scale is probably 9 out of 10. It is really good controller, all for 40 quid, and if you can get a discount code or something like that, that is fantastic too. Bonus points for this one is just how much I like it and how much I just want to give it some extra points because I think it's cool. Normally I would give something that I think is good about 7, something that I think is perfect about 10, and something that I think is okay about 5. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's a little bit better than the good. It deserves that little tiny bit extra in points, but it's not a 9 or a 10 really. It is really good, but yeah, I think the lack of the feature of telling it when you need to charge is a little bit of a downfall from my personal perspective. But overall, that is 77 marks. Like I said previously, 50 is about my mare. 77 is just over the good threshold, so it is a good product. I know a lot of reviewers give, oh, this product's fantastic, 98%, things like that. I do more realistic numbering, to be honest, and you know, 77 is good. Would I recommend you go buy one of these? Yeah, especially if you can get it on offer. If you can get it on offer, I would say it's an almost must, but you can get these now from Red5, and they're normally about £40. Well, that is all my scores and so forth for this quadcopter. I'm glad I bought it, and it is really quite good, so I'm going to enjoy flying this one along with my other. Well, thank you very much for watching. I've been Master Hellish. This has been a review for this particular quadcopter, and all the details are in the description below. If you have any comments, questions, thoughts, queries, pop them down in the comments below, and if it has been useful to you or you like the video, remember to give it that like mark. Well, that's all from me for now. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.